Hey, what's going on, Who That Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones, host of the State of the Saints podcast. On this edition of the State of the Saints podcast, we talk about Saints right guard Cesar Ruiz. He's going to be missing some time, but the New Orleans Saints got some reinforcements coming back to practice. We'll break it down for you. The State of the Saints podcast starts right now.
Thank you for listening to my daddy's podcast. Please subscribe to our channel.
All I got to say is, who that? Hey, what's going on, Who That Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones. And yes, I am the host of the State of the Saints podcast. Thank you so much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast, where we talk New Orleans Saints. Really do appreciate your time, no matter where you are, wherever you may be. Thank you so much for allowing the State of the Saints podcast to be a part of your listening and viewing pleasure. On this edition, we're going to be talking a little bit about Cesar Ruiz and him missing some time over the next 4 to 6 weeks. And we're also going to be talking about Foster Moreau and Taysom Hill returning to practice coming off the PUP list. So a little bit of bad news, but a little bit of good news as well. But the good news is also that immediately following this episode, you can check out the NFC South Roundtable. It is tonight. If you're watching this on a Tuesday, I'm going to go ahead right now and put that link inside of the comments. And look, check this out. I understand that the New Orleans Saints are 0-4, and I understand that these are not ideal times. But at the end of the day, come on over to the NFC South Roundtable, because we need to let people know that regardless to the New Orleans Saints going through some hardships, we still bleed black and gold no matter what. Ain't no fair weather over here, all right? We got to show up and show out the same way we did when the Saints were on top when it all started. So I want to see the Who That Nation in full throat, or in this case, full chat, watching the NFC South Roundtable as we break down week 4 of the NFL season. But let's go ahead and get into it. Talk a little bit about Cesar Ruiz. Of course, we know Cesar Ruiz left the game versus the Buffalo Bills in week 4. He suffered an ankle injury that will have him out 4 to 6 weeks. Now, I must admit, Cesar Ruiz leaves a lot to be desired. I don't think I'm telling anybody something they don't already know. Statistically, analytically, he is one of the worst right guards in all of football. I do feel like the Saints need to go in a different direction when it's all said and done. But I, by no means, want to see Cesar Ruiz hurt. And if you want to see Cesar Ruiz hurt just for him to be out of the lineup, you, sir, you, ma'am, are pretty doggone sick. I want to make sure that this guy is upright so he can be able to take care of his family, regardless of how he's playing or what type of production he has. At the end of the day, this is a human being with a family and trying to provide for them. But at the end of the day, this is a great opportunity for another right guard to be able to step up in Torricelli Simpkins. Torricelli Simpkins came in after Ruiz got hurt, and he played pretty formidably. He really did a good job, and he had a little bit of a bounce back. Last week versus the Seattle Seahawks, he struggled a little bit, but he was able to be thrust into the lineup, and he was pretty solid. And if he can actually build on the reps that he got after Ruiz went down, then that can be something that can be special. Yeah, like the fact that his guy could possibly be a starter. Like, we know that opportunities, you got to be able to take advantage of them. Simpkins can actually take advantage of this opportunity. And if he goes out there and he plays solid, and I'm talking about plays really well, he can make it very interesting around the time Cesar Ruiz come back. Like, some people may not want to hear that, but that's just the reality, right? All it takes is an opportunity, and he can take advantage of that if he goes out there and play well. Now, they also have Dylan Radins, who they signed during the offseason. He's been dealing with an injury. He should be back pretty soon. So you got some depth there at the right guard position. But I hate the fact that the New Orleans Saints are yet again without their starting offensive line, because even though Cesar Ruiz, we have our reservations about him. I thought the offensive line played pretty well last game versus Buffalo when they were fully intact. They carried the ball 34 times for 180 plus yards, and looking at those guys go out there and play, it was very promising. So at the end of the day, I just hope that Torricelli Simpkins can be able to do his part. I hope that the offensive line can be able to build on the momentum that they had in that Buffalo Bills game. They were able to play disciplined football, and I think that comes with continuity. This was the offensive line that we saw versus Buffalo that was working together constantly during the offseason. So having those guys back is key. Having Trevor Penning back at guard is key. And if Torricelli Simpkins can step up, then maybe the New Orleans Saints offensive line can be on an uptick. But there is some good news outside of, Cesar Ruiz. I know a lot of people, like I said, if you think about this guy and talking about this guy not being out there, a part of you are like, you happy because he got hurt. Like, you're sick, man. You're sick. So it's unfortunate for Ruiz, but this is some positive news. Taysom Hill and Foster Moreau returning back to practice, coming off the PUP list. Now, them coming off the PUP list, they have 21 days to be activated to the 53-man roster. If they don't, then that means that they got to stay on the PUP list the entire season. I don't think that these guys are going to be staying on the PUP list. I don't think the New Orleans Saints would have done this if they didn't feel that these two guys have a chance of being a part of the roster. And the Saints need some reinforcements in a major way. Foster Moreau was playing pretty solid. Of course, he hurt himself the last game of the season. He hurt his hurt his knee in the final game of the season. And Taysom Hill hurt his knee the week before in week 17. So these two guys are extremely instrumental to the Saints offense. At least they were last season. We know what Foster Moreau can be in the red zone. When Spencer Rattler was playing, he was relying on Foster Moreau quite a bit, especially when it comes to red zone. He was throwing at Foster Moreau, and the Saints can definitely use a big target in that area. And also Taysom Hill. The fact that Taysom Hill can be lined up a multifaceted of ways. Of course, he is the Swiss Army knife, but we also have to take into account coming off a knee injury, 35 years old, how much of an impact will Taysom have? Regardless to if he is the Taysom Hill or old or not, he still creates a dynamic for the New Orleans Saints. And teams still have to respect his ability to be able to throw the football and run it. And also in short yardage situations, the New Orleans Saints can utilize the services of a Taysom Hill. All in all, these two guys coming back is major for the New Orleans Saints. As the New Orleans Saints try to figure out what in God's name they're going to do offensively, because Lord knows they need some help. At the end of the day, is Foster Moreau and Taysom Hill going to change New Orleans Saints football in 2025? Probably not. But the addition of them being out there is key. I've looked up something and I found it very interesting. Taysom Hill since 2021 has missed a total of 16 games. Once again, Taysom Hill since 2021 has missed a total of 16 games. The New Orleans Saints are 4-12 since 2021 without Taysom Hill. That tells you that Taysom Hill, when he is in a lineup, the Saints win 75% of the time. That's amazing. The fact that he has that type of impact. So with Taysom Hill being out of lineup, that means that the Saints win 25% of the time. So to say that Taysom Hill matters to the New Orleans Saints is an understatement. So hopefully he can come back and provide some type of spark because, man, do the New Orleans Saints offense need it. But let's go ahead and read some of these comments. Let's go ahead and go from there. I'll read a few of your comments before we shift gears and go over to the NFC South Roundtable. But I do have to acknowledge the fine folks at MyBookie, the official sponsor of the State of the Saints podcast. For the first time this season, the New Orleans Saints are a 1.5 point favorite in a game. The Saints are favorite in a football game for the first time this season. They're a 1.5 point favorite. If you feel like the New Orleans Saints are going to cover, you can always place your bet at MyBookie. There is a special promotion where if you can bet up to $500, if you get the opt-in option where, you pay the $500, there's a chance where you can get your $500 back with the buy-in option. All you have to do is use the promo code Saints. All right, use the promo code Saints. Download the MyBookie app today. All right. Foster Moreau, back too. Yeah, Foster Moreau is back, but both of these guys, they can add something to this offense. Yeah, he definitely wasn't playing good, TJ. Yeah, he wasn't playing good, but I don't want to see that man go out like that. I wish him a speedy recovery. Maybe he'll learn to block better at that period of time. Come on, Jerry. Come on, man. I agree he not that good. TJ, how you think Kellen Moore will use Taysom Hill? I think they'll probably use him in the same ways that most of the coaches use him. Sean Payton, Clint Kubiak. I think he'll probably use them in the same way. Beasley says 0-17 incoming. The Saints are not going to go 0-17. I can tell you that right now. There's no way the Saints are going 0-17. First game this season we're favored in. Absolutely, man. Like that's crazy. But I think with the loss of Malik Neighbors, it played a role. So I think when that line first started for that game, the Giants were favored. But of course, Malik Neighbors tore his ACL in the last game. That's unfortunate for him. I like seeing Malik Neighbors play. But at the end of the day, that's how they set these lines, with guys being in a lineup. And, that's how they set who is going to be the favorite, who's going to be the underdog. TJ, the Saints need to shorten the game with long possessions. Let the run game carry the team. Look, man, they need to be able to establish the run, but they also need to have balance. And, at the end of the day, the Saints cannot afford to be half-stepping in any department. They got to be able to make all the throws if you're Spencer Rattler. You got to be able to create lanes for these running backs to run through if you're the offensive line. And you can't be around this thing tap dancing like Savion Glover. You got to be able to hit the hole and be able to get downfield. These wide receivers, when the opportunity presents itself on some of these third downs that can, keep drives alive, they got to be able to step up. And sometimes it might be some tough catches that they're going to have to make. It's going to have to be a collective effort offensively and also defensively. You got to be able to get those 3 and outs early. How about starting off with a lead? Like, how about that? Like allow another team to be chasing you. If you can do all that and keep the penalties down like you did last game, then you should be in it and with a chance to win. But at the same time, I'm just tired of the New Orleans Saints always playing catch up. Like, I would like to see them have a performance where they actually win in a game and it feels comfortable. It's been a long time since we've seen that. So a lot of self-inflicted wounds that have caused the New Orleans Saints to not be in that position. But, man, do they need to – they need a win bad. I think that would probably help the fan base. Nobody is expecting for the Saints to make the playoffs or win a division, but can you win a football game? Can you not shoot yourself in the foot? Can you not just make boneheaded mistakes and have people throwing stuff at the television? That's all I'm saying. But it takes everybody, man. It takes everybody. Everybody knows that this team is limited, but at the end of the day, can you go out there and execute to the highest, the highest degree? Can you do that? If you do that, then you probably end up winning a football game. TJ, I remember your rant about Sean's arrogance as a play caller. But the silver lining was that we had edge to us and aggression. Yeah, I mean, but most of the time he was arrogant, but I mean, he had a right to be arrogant. Like, seriously, like, I don't mind people being arrogant, but as long as you got a right to be. Like, Sean Payton had enough positive equity built up that it shouldn't matter what I said. I mean, it showed that he worked. It showed that it worked, him being aggressive. I mean, we all know about the onside kick in the Super Bowl, right? That doesn't happen. Who knows how that Super Bowl would have went? So at the end of the day, he earned the right to be aggressive. I didn't necessarily agree with everything he did. It used to come at the most ridiculous time. Like if you're running a football with Mark Ingram, +5, Mark Ingram again, +7, first down, plus 5 again. And then all of a sudden he'll come a triple reverse, loss of 5. Like, what are we doing? Like, allow Mark Ingram to cook. That was my gripe with him, but at the end of the day, he earned the right to be arrogant. And I understand that you're trying to play with an edge, but it's a time and place for that. I mean, facilitating a 2-minute drill, understanding that you had a chance for a 2-for-1, and you out here with as Holden Mayo, my boy John Snow would say, the Gentili special. Like, come on, man. What are we doing here, man? What are we doing? We try to put points on the board. If you can't get 6, at least get 3. TJ, what do you think of Olave and a 5th for A.J. Brown? Does that not fit the window for this team? Look, I would love to have A.J. Brown on this team. I mean, knowing Philly, Howie Roseman is probably on line 1. But I don't know, man. I mean, I think A.J. Brown would definitely add to this team, and he definitely would get the majority of the targets. But the way that everything is set up right now, like I bet you'd rather be miserable in Philly than miserable in New Orleans. Like getting a bunch of targets that might get to you, might be behind you, like right now while these quarterbacks trying to figure it out. So I don't know, man. I mean, I wouldn't mind A.J. Brown joining the Saints. I think that he definitely would give you more than what Chris Olave would at this point. But but at the same time, I mean, I don't think that A.J. Brown will want to come to the Saints. Like, I mean, I know, you want the football, but you want the football so you can help your team win. Most of the time you probably getting the football. Y'all down by 3 touchdowns, So I don't know, man. But yeah, I would love to have A.J. Brown. I wouldn't mind that. He definitely would bring a different dynamic and something that is indeed necessary to the New Orleans Saints team. I'm going to take a couple more, and then we're going to go ahead and get up out of here. Once again, I'm going to go ahead and put that link inside of the comments. Go ahead and put that link there. And also immediately following, well, not immediately following, but the State of the NFL podcast, there'll be a video out tonight. I'm going to be talking about the Cleveland Browns and this hit job they got on Shadur Sanders. I mean, just absolutely unbelievable, man. The Du Bois are out for the Cleveland Browns, and I'm going to discuss why I feel like it's just absolutely ridiculous that people are buying what the Browns are selling. So that video will be out tonight. Sean Payton loved running them triple reverse plays, LOL. They rarely worked. I mean, I only can think about a handful of times. Devery Henderson, triple reverse. Reggie Bush against Pittsburgh, triple reverse. That's like the only 2 times I could just think about that triple reverse actually working. And that was back in 2006. He still was running it like 10 years later for negative yards. I mean, I respect the hustle. I respect the I mean, the willingness to try to keep it moving and keep it going, but it just did not work, man. We got Zay Flowers already. Don't need another small wide receiver. I mean, but Chris Olave, that type of receiver Chris Olave is, it can work in Baltimore. It can work in Baltimore. Like because he's kind of, I'm going to say Rashad Bateman just a little bit bigger than he is, but yeah, I mean, Chris Olave can thrive in an environment like Baltimore has, because I think they will actually appreciate his ability to be a down the field threat. I think that's something that the New Orleans Saints took away from Olave, that he thrived at Ohio State doing. But I just think that they don't do it anymore because you got Rashid Shaheed on the team. But, man, I think if you got 2 burners, I think you just need to utilize them and make it work. I mean, the Saints used to send Robert Meacham and Devery Henderson down the field, right? Both of them were burners. So I just think that you need to use what you got. Trying to stay Falcon free. Hey, man. At the same time, man, look, if we were winning, you'll be in that thing. You know it, Jerry. You'll be in that thing. So we got to show up and show out even in wins and defeat. They already running their mouth on the round table. They can run their mouth all they want to, but they still ain't about to win nothing. And and I'm gonna talk about that tonight. I'm gonna explain that tonight. So make sure that y'all come on over to the NFC South Roundtable. But thank you all so much for checking out this episode of the State of the Saints podcast, brought to you by MyBookie. Make sure that you download the app and place your bets today. Use that promo code Saints to get in on that buy-in option up to 500 of them things, $500. All right, so make sure you do that. All right, and also come on over to the NFC South Roundtable. Till next time, all I got to say is, who that?